Hey horror hounds, welcome back to Stanley Boy Reviews. I'm your host Stanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel and to talk about your favorite horror films and my favorite horror films. We took a break last week from reviews to interview actor Billy Gallo. It was a lot of fun. We can add that to the growing roster of interviews. Denise Richards, check it out. This week we are back to scheduled programming to talk about horror's latest theatrical release, X. But before we get into it, please subscribe. As you already know, there is a gift in it for the 200th subscriber. So just get on it, hit the button, and subscribe. Because you know you want to. So just stay with me. Let's get on with it. This movie is a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Go grab your pitchfork, or go grab your video camera, and let's get down to some dirty, disgusting business. Have a seat. I'm gonna have a seat. Let's get nasty.
I'm going to twist your back like mine, so you'll never get out of bed again. Never get out of bed again! Never get out of bed again!
This movie review might be a little bit different because the trailers are pretty heavy with spoilers. You kind of already know who the killer is, where the movie is going. So with that being said, I'm going to advise you, if you haven't seen X yet, hit pause, go watch the movie, and then come back to this review because chances are something's gonna fall out of my mouth and I'm going to spoil something. Here's your warning. Are you still with me? All right, you've been warned. Here we go. Let me start off by saying how much I love Ti West. I've been a Ti West fan since the very beginning. Cabin Fever 2 is supremely underrated in my opinion. It's gory, it's weird, it's stupid, it's fun. It probably would have done a lot better had it not been called Cabin Fever 2, but it's underappreciated and it has a lot of really good / bad acting. The gore is so superb. And The Innkeepers to me is a near perfect movie. It's slow, it's got a vibe, it's a good piece of work. I really liked The Sacrament. I really liked The House of the Devil, and I really like old 70s and 80s horror films, and Ti West really knows how to transport you to that particular period in horror movie time. You know what I mean? And that's what I loved about X. X really transports you to the 1970s. This movie takes place in 1979, and I felt like I was watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the big screen for the first time. But that might have just been me. I don't know. Ti West wrote and directed this movie, much like a lot of his work, and it was shot in New Zealand over the spring of 2021. It was released in March of 2022, just a couple of weeks ago at South by Southwest, and it just had its world premiere literally a couple of weeks ago. So we're just gonna get into the plot. We're gonna keep this short and sweet. This movie is about a group of amateur pornographers led by a guy named Wayne, played by Martin Henderson, and you might recognize him from the Toxic music video by Britney Spears and also as Naomi Watts' boyfriend from the Ring remake. He is trying to shoot a porno film in Texas. He has a young, hot cast with him, led by Maxine, played by Mia Goth, who is also his girlfriend, who is much younger. There is Bobby Lynn, played by Brittany Snow, who you will recognize from Pitch Perfect and Hairspray and a slew of other movies, who is playing way against hype. There is also Kid Cudi, who plays Jackson Hole, who is the only meat in the picture. And then there is Jenna Ortega, who plays Lorraine, who is the sound girl and also the girlfriend of the cinematographer, RJ, played by Owen Campbell. Together, they're in this van. I mean, the entire time I was watching this movie, I was like, this looks like the van that my mom took all of my friends to my sophomore winter formal in when I was in high school. Anyway, they're in this van. They're going to some farm that Wayne has rented from an old man named Howard. And they're gonna shoot scenes for this porno movie. He's this old, decrepit Christian man. He doesn't know that they're there to make a porno picture, who has an old crazy wife who they're basically told to stay away from. They cannot interact with his wife, Pearl. It doesn't take long for any of these rules that Howard has implemented to be broken. And it doesn't take long for Pearl to wander outside the house and to see what's going on. And basically, Pearl is sad and trying to recapture her youth. She misses the flame that she had with Howard when they were young, and she just wants to get it on with her husband, who claims that he can't because of his heart. He's afraid that if he has sex with her, that his heart's gonna give out and he's gonna die on her. And that leaves Pearl to her own imagination and to wander around this guest house of theirs and watch the porn that is being made by these beautiful young folk. The first act is purely us watching these wannabe actors interact with each other, and it's really interesting to see the dynamic because they kind of know each other, they kind of don't know each other. It's purely character development, and I loved it for that. I loved that Ti West gave us solid characters to care about and a good first half to work with, because I didn't expect that. I was going into this movie expecting just bloodshed, tits, and I just give mad props to all of Ti West's wonderful imagination for giving me a lot more than just your typical tropey horror film. I don't really have to get into the second act because the trailers, like I said, give away a lot. And they kind of let you know who's doing the devil's work here. We already know who the killer is. I don't have to reveal it. Once you find out who the killer is, it's pretty fun. And I was on the ground when the bloodshed started happening. And let me tell you, this movie gets red. We get a lot of blood. There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of blood. I was floored by how much this movie just really took me back to Last House on the Left days. The killer just kills with the humor of Freddy Krueger and the ferocity of Jason Voorhees. There were so many echoes to Friday the 13th, old school slasher films, even Psycho Biddy pictures, like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. There were many times where I was like, wow, this is going full 1960s horror on me. Man, what's so great about X is that it's a slasher through and through, but it's not a stupid slasher. Like, it's a smart, entertaining, fun, and really enthralling slasher movie. It follows all the tropes. It takes us back to the movies that I grew up with and that I loved and still love, like Tourist Trap and the original Friday the 13th and some of the better sequels. And even other movies like Tobe Hooper's Eaten Alive. Like, we get some alligator stuff that I'm not going to give away. It just kind of throws you for a loop because you just didn't think that it was going to happen. And it just like, whoa, some mind-blowing stuff really plays out on the screen and it just jumps out at you. And I was completely here for it. The cast did great here. The cast did really great here. Mia Goth in particular. I've seen Mia Goth in other stuff, but here she handles everything she's given like a 110% pro. This is her movie. She carries it completely. I really loved Brittany Snow. Like I said earlier, she goes completely against type. We get to see her naked. Like, I was not expecting to see Brittany Snow naked. And she at one point is wiping fluids off of her body. Like, you get to see some really off the wall stuff in this movie. I'm letting you know now that this is a whole different kind of slasher movie. You were being taken back to a different time, man. And Ti West is taking you on a journey. And this is something that you might not be prepared to see. And I'm smiling because I was so happy when I left this theater. And I'm going to be the first to admit that I have family members that have succumbed to just growing old and, you know, falling apart. And the Pearl and Howard storyline really grabbed me by the heartstrings, you know, not for the later reasons in the film. You know, just watching an old couple just go through what they're going through, it made me appreciate seeing characters on display and have that kind of storyline tackled in a different way, because I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen these kind of characters handled in such a way, and I thought it was really scary, and I thought it was gracious, and I thought that it was a worthy telling. And I just want to really applaud Ti West for bringing a sense of realism to two characters that could have been thrown our way and just been silly and seen in a different light. And I think that there was a sympathetic quality to Howard and Pearl. I wish that there were more movies that looked at the elderly like the way that Ti West wrote these characters. And I really loved that a lot. I want to note that Jenna Ortega, and we all know this, but I just have to say it verbally, Jenna Ortega is on her way to becoming the next Scream Queen. And I love this for her. She is a baby Neve Campbell, a baby Jamie Lee in the making. We have her in the second season of You. We have her in Scream 2022. We have her in Studio 666, which I have yet to see. We have her in this. We have her in X. And I'm here for it. I am here for the evolution of Jenna Ortega. We love you. We love you. Keep making these decisions. We are here for it, baby girl. I have to go back to the music. The music was so good. My boyfriend and I kept looking at each other in the middle of the movie and just going, ah, 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 ah. And I loved like the weird echoes and the chanting. The music was just so good. I have to get a copy of this on vinyl at one point because I know they're going to release one. Everything about the score was so good. And all the oldies that they threw in really took me back to all these camping trips that I went on as a kid with my family. Like all we listened to was, and the summertime. Anyway, I loved the music. I can't wait to own a copy of this soundtrack. All in all, X could have been a lot less, and it strived to be more, and I feel like it just knew that it wanted to be more, and it succeeded. I am so happy that I got the chance to see it in theaters. Stick around after the credits because whatever is coming next is going to be bonkers. It's going to be nutter butter. It's going to be good. So just keep that in mind. Stay after for the credits because you got a sneak peek of what is to come in the X universe. So you guys, on Stanny Stab-O-Meter, I'm just going to say it. This movie gets a solid 5 stabs. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed to give it a complete perfect score because it deserves it. This movie has everything. It has gore. It has nudity for once. It has great acting. It has great directing. It has a great script. It has great cinematography. The editing is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie too. And it just takes you back to those 70s grindhouse gritty movies that make you feel uncomfortable and make you feel weird and nervous, and the suspense for the first hour just keeps you on your toes. And it just, once the third act picks up and it just goes and punches until the end of the movie. That's X, man. Go see it. I hope I didn't spoil too much for you, and if I did, I'm so sorry, but I feel like that I kind of tackled this to the best of my ability without giving away too much. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments, leave some feedback. And you guys, please subscribe if you haven't. And stay tuned for more. I'll be back next week with another review. Stay safe for now. Go see X. Go see X. Go watch Cabin Fever 2. Go watch The Innkeepers. Go watch anything by Ti West, you guys, because he's such a fun director. And I can't wait to see what he does next. See you soon.